Welcome to Talmudic Treasures. Today we're learning Yevamot page 98, which tells us that it's important to know the proper order when someone says over a particular law. In other words, if you have a discussion in which we're not sure what to do and a story is presented, and then all of a sudden some scholar comes up and says, oh yeah, this is the proper law. This is the proper way of doing it. So then we don't necessarily listen to them. And the reason is because it's possible they're only saying it based on the story that they have just heard. And therefore it may not necessarily be that they have been taught this in the past by their teachers. It has to be that there's a statement that they constantly are known for saying, and then it happens to be later on there's a story about this in which their statement is able to address that question. The only exception, as the Talmud tells us over here, is if, let's say, they say two statements, in which, in this case, it talked about the story of Yonah, when he went to Nineveh, and just discussing and analyzing a particular verse, why it says the word Shanus, that God spoke to Yonah a second time, and it gives an answer. Now, that certainly there's no reason not to believe it, because it had no actual connection to any story or anything that would have any potential decision on the story that was said. And therefore, since a person's believed regarding that, if you said two things together, we'll say, oh, we believed you on that, we're going to believe you there as well. But again, in general, a person who makes a particular declaration or statement, it has to be, in order to be accepted and believed in the Talmud, is only if it was already said before. And then afterwards, a story came along for it to be addressed. Otherwise, who knows exactly whether or not it's valid.